Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. HarlequinCoHO here. Got another game for you that I really enjoyed, and let's go ahead and take a look. I went ahead and randomized the starting positions, so there's no spoiler alerts. And the player in the 12 o'clock position is going to be YouKonwDefen. He is a defense commander, currently ranked 4th on the ladder, and we'll take a look at his abilities and see how he's doing and all of that. But on the south position of this map, we have the one, the only game paused. Now, I've actually been looking at YouTube statistics a little bit as to when the audience is most attentive, and it seems now is the appropriate time to say announcements as opposed to the end of the 4th video. But I wanted to invite you all to stop by companyofheroes.com and check out my official discussion thread in the forums there. I will provide a link at the bottom of this video as well as a link on the left-hand side of my channel. So please swing by. It's a quick way to say hello and give me some feedback and just kind of talk about games in general. Game resumed. The one, the only AFKNinja, who is currently rank 2 for armor players. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to him, and just by looking at my notes, you'll notice, by the way, he's building half of a barracks and then moving his engineers outward. Just by looking at my notes, last time we saw AFKNinja, he was rank 8, and now he is rank 2, so he's been climbing the ladder pretty well here. So you'll see that the AFKNinja's charismatic engineers pop out and are now power building the rest of this barracks. So he just kind of got it started and then began capping the munitions point. So, we've got a pretty good looking game here. Let's take a look at everybody's abilities while we're getting them all set up. You'll see that AFKNinja has my favorite armor layout. He's got HVAP rounds, the armor piercing rounds, self-repair, Calliope, Pershing, pretty standard. And then he went ahead and got Armored Bounty, which is, you know, my favorite. Lots of people like to choose different things for that final one, but Armor Bounty seems to be about the most popular. So we'll take a look up here at YouKonwDefen, and I know he doesn't spell it that way, but I just want to call him YouKonwDefen because it looks like a typo. But like I said, he's number 4 on the ladder, and we'll see that he's got recoup losses, entrenched position, contracted reinforcements for the fatherland, and reactive artillery. So contracted reinforcements, really good at building bunkers and 88s and that sort of thing. Recoup losses is awesome if you level it. You get money back when people die, and both entrenched position and for the fatherland buff up your troops. So you'll see that he begins right away with these bargain Volkgrenadiers. And bargain Volkgrenadiers, level 5, they're a hero unit. They have a little bit more hit points and are much, much cheaper than regular Volkgrenadiers. And by the way, I've had lots of German people like to criticize my pronunciation because it's terrible. I know it should be more of a softer V, like a Volksgrenadiers, almost an F, but I'm a dumb American. I pronounce everything wrong, and I'm okay with that, so sorry. Anyhow, our Volksgrenadiers here on the left are now moving up, and let's take a look at the sort of army upgrades that YouKonwDefen has. He's got 16% squad health, ability reduced by 20% cost, increased accuracy, and decreased reinforcement cost by 30%. Now that is huge. So what we're going to see here, and look at the nice little charismatic engineers here completely outnumbering and outgunning the pioneers. I really do like that. It's like one of the times when it feels like engineers can actually stand their own against a couple of pioneers. Otherwise, just kind of capping. What we're going to see is a lot of recoup losses combined with cheap reinforcements combined with medic bunkers. And this is kind of your classic Volkspamming kind of technique. Lots and lots and lots of infantry. And we'll just take a look back here. We'll see yet more Volksgrenadiers coming out here. His 3rd squad ready. And let me swap the camera back on down to AFKNinja and just take a peek out here to see what he's up to. You can see his riflemen sporting the standard accuracy, sight range, and armor upgrades. Are just kind of chasing away these pioneers while these poor charismatic engineers try to get this fuel point capped for like the 10th time. Meanwhile, stabbing outward, grabbing territory wherever possible, and we'll see this very aggressive forward play here by YouKonwDefen versus AFKNinja. AFKNinja looks like he's going into the normal 4 riflemen plus 3 engineers opening, one of them being charismatic engineers, and he's just kind of in the middle of pumping out the rest of his riflemen. This is, of course, Wilson's riflemen coming out, one of my favorite rifleman squads. But we'll see here. Oh, a little bit of G-bagging going on. Always good to get that free green cover whenever you can if you think you're going to have a prolonged firefight there. But it looks like AFKNinja is backed away for the meanwhile. And just to confuse everybody yet again, I'm going to swap back to YouKonwDefen because frankly, he's got the most abilities to use early on. We're not going to see any armor abilities right away. So we'll just take a look at him and see what he uses. So we've got the Volksgrenadiers moving in the front, trying to cap this strategic point. This is a very good point to grab if you can grab it because as you can see, it would neatly divide AFKNinja's territory in half. massive firefight going on here. We have pretty much his entire army here at the moment. I believe Wilson's riflemen just popped out down here. They will likely join the fray from the other side. But 3 Volk squads here, just kind of firing away like crazy. Recoup losses has been active for a little bit, so from this point of view, you will see whenever a unit dies, he will get a little bit of a reimbursement from it. And you'll see that part of what he's going to do is just kind of double dip on the cost of buying new troops. You can see he's bought the really cheap, there we go, there's his little bit of reimbursement here for losing a unit there. But you can see that he makes a lot of money in this process because not only is he getting the units for cheaper, he's resupplying them for cheaper, but then he's also getting paid whenever they die. So he's kind of double, triple dipping on this. And it's very, very effective spamming kind of technique early game. And, you know, usually riflemen tend to have the early game advantage because they seem to outnumber and be do a little bit more damage and that sort of thing. But this kind of Volkspam is a very effective counter to that. So we'll see where that's going to go. Meanwhile, looks like AFKNinja has been forced to completely retreat here. We see he's got a single wounded squad up here in the north. That is just kind of capping this wonderful point here. I haven't really looked too much at the tactical map yet, but this one point here kind of neatly divides the entire map in half, and you can see the Volkgrenadiers now are capping that one point that I was also talking about. That's a very dangerous point for AFKNinja to have, and thankfully, right as they cap that, he's going to cap this, and that'll reconnect his territory, because right now his territory is completely bifurcated. You can see, looks like entrenched position was active for this one bit of territory here. Oh, nice looking hand grenade goes off there. That was giving them accuracy and armor. I guess they only get the accuracy when they're sitting still, which is what these guys are doing right now. But you can see that buff just lasted for a little while. But again, good buffs to have when you have tons of troops and you just want overwhelming numbers and advantage. Wilson's rifleman again chucking out hand grenades, doing some serious damage. Recoup losses goes up just a little late, so he doesn't get anything for that. And right as the losses go up, it looks like, oh, he almost capped that point, but instead retreated. So once again, AFKNinja driven backwards. Now losing control of these really, really effective positions. Like, you really absolutely, as the bottom player on this map, need to control this munitions point as well as this strategic point. So not having those and having to fight this in unfriendly territory is very difficult because the enemy has access to all of these buildings, and you know, this is typically a point that you have to have as the bottom player. Same thing with this fuel point over here. They're just things that you need to control. So losing this early game, big disadvantage for AFKNinja. So he's really going to have to do something else to get out of here. And we can see he's just going to move his riflemen to a completely different position now. He's decided not to go for the frontal assault on this region, but instead to stab outward and try and, you know, recoup the damage to his territory elsewhere. So, meanwhile, let's take a look and see that we've got the Krieg Barracks is now going up for YouKonwDefen. And let's take a look at his army now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Volk squads and 3 Pioneers, 2 of which are flamethrower upgrades. So just a big old mass of folks at the moment. Riflemen stabbing outward, encountering double Volk squads and kind of backing off just a little bit. I do like, I love Wilson's. So Wilson's is moving up here. They're all doing their thing, charging on in. And here we go. Once again, the entrenched positions is activated for YouKonwDefen. And now the flank coming from all the rest of the troops that were just over by that previous munitions point moving in, and really putting a lot of pressure on the riflemen. Looks like For the Fatherland now just activated as well. However, that only affects troops that are in friendly territory, so these guys on the left didn't get it. I honestly don't know why he retreated there. That could have been a mistake. It looked like he had a nice flank going, and if he had just waited a little bit longer, he could have had recoup losses up and really kept that going. So unfortunately, For the Fatherland, by the way, has armor, hit point regeneration, and suppression resistance, or what the 3 icons are when they're in friendly territory. But he's driven away, and you can see that he put absolutely no priority into grabbing these victory points. And so now, oddly enough, even though AFKNinja has poor map control at the moment, he has the only victory point. So you can see he is almost 100 points ahead. It is 417 at the moment for YouKonwDefen. And only 500. Now this I love. He sees a mass retreat. AFKNinja sees a mass retreat by his opponent, and so he splits all of his riflemen up into 3 groups and tries to cap 3 different points at once, knowing that some of them will be successful. The guys in the front were only able to decap, but these guys here on the right and the left are definitely going to get it, and he has to be careful because there's a little bit of mines there. Oh God, Bazooka Joe, be careful, sir. Oh no! Did he make it? Okay, I think that's Bazooka Joe crawling around on the ground right there. He's my favorite unit in this game. Second only, or sorry, second rate would be Panzerschreck Johann from the Berger's Panzer Pioneers. Anyhow, so looks like Wilson's moving right along here, looking out for landmines, and was not quite able to cap that point. Sorry, was able to cap that point. I'm getting my colors all mixed up. Now, we do have a half-track on the field. That's a really curious first purchase from a Krieg barracks. Half-track allows you to resupply your troops on the field. Really, really effective. If your strategy combines, you know, benefiting from losing your own units, it's very helpful to not have to retreat. So hopefully we'll see a lot of Volksgrenadiers fighting in the front with a support half-track behind them, resupplying them during combat. And you can see he even has his single non-flame engineers upgraded in order to man the machine guns. Now what we saw up here was looks like a single rifleman squad. That was I believe that was the Wilson's Rifleman Squad, was actually trying to take back this fuel point that he lost so long ago. Totally defended with a single reactive artillery right in that spot. So good judicial use of reactive artillery. I do like that. Once again, we have AFKNinja here trying desperately to take this munitions point that really should be his. Now taking a lot of suppressing fire here from this half-track. We'll see a half-track moving in for kind of a closer kill there, trying to see if he can get some extra shots. Volk's here fighting away at this building. The charismatic engineers are in there taking some serious damage and loss of life. Recoup losses activated. He's getting a little bit of reimbursement there. And now maybe this rear machine gunner will get a shot off. Yep, there he goes. Rest of the Volks up here recapping these dangerous positions. And Wilson's Rifleman moving on out. Looks like he didn't quite finish resupplying. You can see this almost completed supply here. So let's see what Wilson's has to say about this situation here. So Bazooka Joe decides to start things off by blowing up the cover that they're standing behind. And, you know, I've said this before, but I really feel for Bazooka Joe. The guy, you know, he's only got a single bazooka, and so, you know, he just has to use a bazooka in every situation. And unfortunately, not every situation calls for a bazooka. So he's kind of the hilarious comedic relief, I think, of this squad. Anyhow, every now and then, though, he totally blows up a motorcycle, and it's just completely awesome. So good use of Pioneers here. I'm not quite sure why they retreated. They were doing a good job chasing away Wilson's. We do have the riflemen are now here doing their thing, shooting back and forth. And you can see that having this half-track here is allowing him to resupply these troops. He's not actually resupplying them yet, but he's doing a pretty good job of just keeping that right in the back. Looks like a single half-track is now in the field. Greyhound armored car for AFKNinja, and just to take a look at his army items, this is very common for armored players to get weapon damage, increased rate of fire, and max health of armored cars. That is actually very useful because quite often you have to rely on your early, you know, light armored vehicles